Good morning, kings and queens. I'm a little late this morning, but market has opened. Let's get Weeble shown up. Things are looking much, much greener than they were yesterday. That is definitely for sure. I'm a little tardy to the party today. Computer's slow. Not going to lie, I woke up a little bit late too. But we're going to get into it. As you can see, I have my watch list opened up over a Weeble. And yeah, there's a lot more green. A lot more green. So, real quick, I want to say this channel, there's no financial advice. This is all for entertainment and education purposes only. If you have any comments, questions, anything of those sorts, feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. And yeah, let's get into it. So, the automobiles and auto parts are in the lead. Doesn't surprise me, especially seeing the ones that I do that are up here right now. You got Toyota, Tesla, who just came in a whole slew more than what their projections were. I think it was 200,000 cars in 2021. But yeah, these top ones that they're moving the market right now, the electric vehicles, or I shouldn't say they're moving the market, but they're big in the market right now, which is probably why automotives and automobile and auto parts are doing so well. The ones I'm referring to, all just shifted. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So semiconductors, that makes sense. Doesn't surprise me that these two are up in the lead, especially even metal mining. Metal mining is a commodity that we need for everything, so that's going to be, your copper, silver, gold, rhodium, palladium, all that stuff. Let's check out my exact trade. Did that wrong. There we go. And as you can see, we are in the profit for today so far. Makes sense. Everything is up. Just kidding. Oh yeah, well, the weekly. Let's go to the 5-minute. There we go. So you see, we got that big bar. It looks like it opened up high, starting to come down a little bit. But I mean, this is early morning action. First market movers, so makes sense. Uranium stocks are glowing hot as global nuclear ambitions grow, which doesn't surprise me. Uranium is getting bigger. It's going to be one of the clean energy initiatives, not renewable energy, because uranium you can't use once you completely use it up. But they are getting better and better at storing it. Sure, maybe in like 2,000 years someone could potentially find it, but that's an argument for another day. Let's see. I'm changing the title real quick. Bitcoin and Kryptos are looking good. And I'll throw, okay, Bitcoin, Kryptos, and stocks. Alright. Let's go look over at our Kryptos for a bit. Oh, wow. That was a big jump down. Before we do that, let's go look over at space. That's what I mentioned the other day. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, being in the $12 range, it's or 12, almost $13 range. It's still very, very low compared to what it has been. So I still see that there's a whole lot of potential in uranium. Sorry, in space, Virgin Galactic. T-Mobile, there's going to be a little bit of news on that today. Verizon, I think that pops up in the news also. T-Mobile. I'm going to be focusing on cellular on this account a good bit because I do believe that cellular is going to be something to focus on this year, since a lot of them are in a race to get to 5G. And as you can see, Lucid, Neo, they're coming up a good little bit. 3% so far today. No, that was down to like $40 when I first started mentioning it. But this one's a slow mover. This is water. So this right here, this is more of a dividend play. But yeah, when I was first looking at it, I think it was down in the $40 range, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Yeah, it's right over here. Or here. So, okay. Let's go look at some Kryptos. Alright, so as you can see, Bitcoin is coming back. Bitcoin and Kryptos are coming back. So still over the 7 days, the top 10 are down. Besides Terra, but that's a stable coin. So that was going to be pretty much sitting there. But let's just put it this way. Bitcoin, we're looking at about $1,300, $1,400. No, sorry, $1,700, $1,800 more than yesterday. Ethereum about $3 more than yesterday. This is about $40 more than yesterday. BNB. Solana about $13 more than yesterday. Cardano looks like it is saying 11%, but I mean, I guess 10 cents. Yeah, I guess it's 11%. Same thing here, 7 cents, 5, 6 cents, about 11%. Luna coming back, that looks like it is about $6, I think it was, $4 or $5 on Polkadot. Yeah, about $10 up on Avalanche. This is all just within the last day. Ooh, looks like Poly has. Is this an official thing? Yeah. Looks like Poly has flipped ship. Finally. So Doge and SHIB are now out of the 10 spot. I didn't even realize that Doge was out of the 10 spot. That looks like it could have happened a few days ago. I might have actually, that probably happened while being on this stream, and I just didn't realize it was out of the 10 spot. So SHIB and Doge are now out of the top 10 spots. Link is looking strong still. Crypto.com looking strong. I'm not surprised that this is going up. I want to say this will go under $40 before the end of the bull run, and you can ride it back up to almost $1, but may not hit $40 again before going back up. But we'll see. That's all part of the fun in crypto. You don't know until it happens. But everything is definitely showing some strength. Atom probably being one of the biggest. This is one of the few that is up in the last 7 days. Did Link up? Yeah, Link's up in the last 7 days. Mirror's up in the last 7 days. So those are three that I mentioned, I think on DSO and on my Discord that are up in the last 7 days. I am bullish on Phantom as well. Someone mentioned that on DSO. I actually need to reply to that, but that's what I'm bullish on too. I don't have any right now, but I should have looked into it sooner. Let's see what else. Everything's looking healthier. Anything else up in the last 7 days? Everything else looks down in the last 7 days. Don't know too much about Oasis. Don't know too much about Dash, but I know it's been around a little bit. Those are up in the last 7 days. Yeah, so it looks like only 5 of the top 100 are up in the last 7 days. Alright, what I'm going to do now, we'll pull this up. I'll minimize this right here. And I was able to take a screenshot the other day of what was it? Here it is. Probably this one. I was able to take a picture of or screenshot of the whale wallet stats yesterday. Let's see if I can't pull that up on the other screen. That way we can compare what it looked like yesterday and what it looked like today, or what it looks like today. Can I do a quick crop on this? I'm sure I can. Cool. Alright. So let's see. We got the whale wallet chart out. And all my other screens are back to where they should be. And I got the ring of death because my computer is slow. Oh, oh geez. Did I just lose a live? Are we still rolling? I think so. Let me just double check that real quick. Let's, sorry about this. Looks like I might be running into some technical difficulty. Okay. Looks like we're okay. We're still running. We're still live. I think we're still good. Okay, cool. Oh, okay. Yep. Looks like Brave crashed on me. Alright, I'm going to have to maybe restore the pages. Will they come back up? Yeah. Okay, cool. Looks like we should be okay. Let everything kind of load back up. And my computer is embarrassingly slow. Alright, bear with me 1 second. Things are starting to come back up. Okay. Alright, we're looking good. That off of here. We were in whale stats. There we go. Alright. Give that a second to load. Come on, computer. Alright, bear with me as I wait, but overall, yeah, we're just going to be looking at the whale stats for a second here. So what I'm going to do is compare the screenshot from yesterday to the screenshot today, see what wallets are, or what the percentage holds are different, or what percentage holds are different, once it loads, obviously. Just going to give it a couple of more minutes. I have another item off screen. Another item off screen that it's still loading up. Alright. Looks like we should be okay now. Things are starting to come back up. I need to like clean off my PC or do a partition or something like that. This thing is not want to cooperate with me. It keeps shutting down my sites. Okay. So now that we are back up, I'm gonna do my best to navigate this, but not waste too much time at the same time on generally everything right now. Okay, so you can already see a little difference in the percentages. You know, let's just move this over. We'll look at the first handful. All right. So 7.43 other tokens. I wonder if that's just kind of an amalgamation of everything that wasn't able to be split down below 0.1%. But either way, you can see FTX token is down in their wallets by 0.5%. SHIB has been sold a little bit in their wallets. Now, when we're saying 0.2 something percent sold in a whale wallet, we're talking probably still either hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, depending on where in this chart we are. Let's see, USDT, it looks like some USDT has been, USDC has been sold off, and USDT as well. What this tells me is that they're actually using their crypto. They're selling their crypto and buying into other things. which is what the trends are telling us. OKB is a little bit higher than yesterday. CRO is exactly where it was yesterday. Matic is actually 2.2 up from yesterday. Link is up almost a whole percent from yesterday. So what this is saying is that the whales are moving from cash, or from their crypto cash, into some crypto coins. This is saying, in my opinion, that the market is waking back up. The whales are starting to move again, which is good for us little guys, because it means our money is starting to wake back up. What else we got? Mana looks like it went down a little bit. 0.1% has been sold. Sand is roughly about the same. Came down just a little bit. Gala up 0.2%. Yeah, so like I said, this is telling me that the trend is moving into the people are buying direction, which that's what we saw in the chart, or in the general trends, or general overview earlier, looking at the CoinMarketCap, or looking at CoinMarketCap. Come on, girl, wake up for me. There we go. So, as you can see, things are green in the last 24 hours, so that's what it's showing me. And when you see USDC down a little bit, USDT down a little bit, it's like 0.0005 of a penny, or 1 or 6 of a penny, something like that. Like, it's a slice of a penny, and oftentimes it's just because things are being moved in such heavy amounts, and it takes some time for it to balance itself back up again. Where is UST? That hasn't cracked top 10 yet. There it is. Yeah, so this could simply just be that. I mean, this right here is probably because Luna is getting burnt and more Terra's or UST is getting produced than is being used right now. But that's another topic for later on. Let's check the live charts real quick, since I am in a trade. They're going up. Liking the general trend of things. Yep, we're still moving up. So UEC, the Clean Energy Uranium Company, up another 10 cents earlier today. So there we go. We're going in the right direction. I'm liking the way everything is moving. This means that I can eat. Alright, so I'm going to be bouncing with the news today, but we'll get it done. We get these things closed out so they're not on the screen in the background. Don't want to pull too much. Let my computer try and think less. Alright, so this doesn't surprise me. Hedge funds saying half the transactions are going to be on ETH. A lot of people are saying that Pantera Capital is long on ETH, maybe even more, north of 50% of world's financial transaction in some way, shape, or will touch ETH. And I mean, this could be between L1s, L2s, but effectively, no matter what, they're saying that ETH is still going to be the main one that is going to be used by the bigger market, is what it looks like, regardless of the other L1s that continue to grow. And that could just be because of network effect. I mean, more people are on Ethereum. So, if more people keep using Ethereum, more people are going to keep building on Ethereum for people to use, regardless of the gas fees and everything like that. L2s will be built to kind of mitigate some of the things. So if you hear me say L2 or L1, what that means is layer 2 and layer 1. If I were to flip those, it makes more sense, layer 1, layer 2. Layer 1 would be the base blockchain. What is the original blockchain that is built and being used for the functional storage and transactions and all that stuff on the blockchain? And then, maybe not storage, but you know what I mean. When transactions are done, it's going into this blockchain. L2 would be a layer on top of that, an app or decentralized app, a DApp is what that would be called, that is built on top of the blockchain in order for it to do whatever its purpose is. So an example of this would be, we'll take Ethereum and Polygon, for example, because those are two of the bigger ones. So Ethereum is the L1. Ethereum is what the main blockchain that's being built on, because it's so big and people want to use it. And Polygon would be the layer 2. Polygon helps with the transaction speed, fees, congestions, and such on Ethereum. So if you're using Polygon, you're still using Ethereum because you're built on the Ethereum network. So if you're a developer and you're developing something in this space, the big thing you want to figure out first is what's the L1 you want to build on top of. And then once you figure out what the L1 is that you want to build on top of, then you figure out the language and how you're going to build it going forward. A lot of these L1s are open source, if not all of them, so you can build on top of them freely. And if not open source, then I may be using that word wrong. You can still build on them freely. I don't know if I should be using the word open source. I'm not a coder, so let me not get anyone confused off of things that I only know partially. So ETH makes up a major portion of Pantera's portfolio. It is among their top 3 holdings according to Krug. With nearly $6 billion assets, Pantera is one of the top crypto-focused hedge funds in the world, and that's why I think people are going to be using Ethereum. So this is what they're saying. Everyone's excited about the new Ethereum. Solana is another layer 1. Terra is another layer 1. Terra is basically saying that Ethereum is going to still be the winner. And I think they're just focusing on that. Number 1, I don't think they know enough about crypto. And number 2, I think the network effects. There's just more people on it. So, when only 2% of the world's population is even using crypto right now, does it really matter if we pick a winner? That's the part that I kind of am stuck on. I was, ETH Bitcoin all the way, but as I get more and more, or as I'm in this market longer and longer, one clear winner to me doesn't make sense besides Bitcoin. But I only say that because I don't think Bitcoin is going anywhere, and I do think people are convinced enough that it is a great store of value. So let's see, as you can see in the sort of image, EVM compatible and oftentimes changes even. Okay, I'm not going to get into all this stuff right here. This is just kind of them explaining why they want to use layer 1 and not layer 2s, why they want to use Ethereum as layer 1 or as a layer 1 and not any other guy. So Krug wants to say that Pantera thesis revolves around the trade-offs other chains are making rather than Ethereum itself. It is and isn't doing. There's too many trade-offs other chains aren't making that Ethereum is not making, or that are making that Ethereum isn't making on the decentralized side. That is pretty important. I don't know if they're the best suited to be the new global financial system layer. And this makes sense. When you get into being a layer 2, oftentimes you do tend to get more centralized. So I can understand this standpoint. However, again, I think this plays into the fact that they just don't know enough about the market. Because layer 2s or some other layer 1s right now may be more centralized, but again, that has a lot to do with network effect. When you're brand new, Ethereum was built in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. These L1s and L2s that are getting going maybe have been built within a year or 2 from Ethereum, but the fact that it was the first is why it has the biggest network around it. And all these other layer 1s that are catching up to Ethereum as far as transactions are concerned, they're going to take a little bit of time to get that same network because they have some kinks to work out. The thing with Ethereum is Ethereum has a whole lot of problems built in too. That's why they went from proof of work to proof of stake, although that's posing its own issues. But people in the traditional market just tend to seem to forget that Ethereum is not the only one. Ethereum isn't just some. It's not fully developed, I should say. It was made with a bunch of mistakes, and it was put out there, and the mistakes are trying to be fit as things are being done, or fixed as things are being done. It doesn't mean it's necessarily bad, but there are layer ones out there that don't have as big of a network, but were put out without issues in the beginning. So I think it's going to be a toss-up on what happens. When is this bull market over? What does Ethereum look like at that point? What do the L1s look like at that point? Have they become more decentralized? And I think those are things that we'll find out as time goes on. Associated Press launching NFT marketplace. This doesn't surprise me at all. I expect more of the traditional Web 2 type, people coming into the NFT place. So the Associated Press will launch a non-fungible token marketplace built on blockchain technology provider Zoa USA, where collectors can purchase the news agency's award-winning contemporary and historic photo journalism. What does that say to me? They want to make money through pictures. When you see a JPEG selling for $400,000, for $600,000 that was a burned real print, whatever it was, you want a piece of the action. It's human nature. And with the way things are going, I expect more and more newspapers or press-like people to get into NFTs. Because what I can see this happening is basically they're going to sell an image and then it'll come with a story, it'll come with a sound, it'll come with something that is going to be unlockable, that's going to make it worth more and more. At first, maybe it won't be, maybe they aren't going to release unlockable items that are that valuable just because they're getting started, but at the same time, we've seen, who's an example? I'm trying to think of an example of unlockable items early on. I think you know what? I got to check on AMC, see if they're coming out with a token. Yeah, I know they were talking about it, but if AMC does end up going blockchain and coming out with a token, if you hold AMC stock, that NFT that you get, or I think I said token, but I think it's NFT. The NFT that you get from AMC, it sounds like it's going to have unlockable content, whether it's ticket sales, early ticket sales, viewings, or whatever. But basically, Associated Press was founded in 1846. It's a nonprofit association with memberships composed of U.S. newspaper and broadcasters. So it's a social media, basically. Now, I don't know too much about the Associated Press. Being that it's a nonprofit doesn't always mean that it's good. The more and more that I learn about nonprofits and have some friends that are in nonprofits, it still is the person behind the nonprofit that determines where it's going. So I don't know too much about Associated Press. I don't want to say anything bad about them, but whenever I see people coming into the NFT space, that tells me that they need funding, at least from the traditional markets right now. Otherwise, why would they change things if they didn't want more money? And the reason I'm saying that is because I am in talks with nonprofits and working on nonprofit stuff and looking at NFTs and DAOs and things like that for fundraising. So for 175 years, these photographers have recorded the world's biggest stories through gripping, poignant images that continue to resonate today. So yeah, they're going to be selling their images. They're going to be building on Polygon. So as I mentioned earlier, Polygon is the layer 2 that works on the Ethereum network. I'm not surprised to see that that's what they're working on. It is more centralized, and that's what was being said in the last message. When we were talking about this one right here, they were like, oh, centralization. That's what they were talking about, Polygon. Actually, you can see it down here. This right here, Matic, that's Polygon. And but what it does is it helps. It's a layer 2 scaling solution. When you can help with transaction fees and congestion on a layer 1, and you're considered a scaling solution because you can help the layer 1 grow, you can help more people build on it, etc., etc. I think that's really all there is to this article. Yep, that's really it. All right, AT&T soon to catch up to Verizon. This stock is a buy. Thought I had that opened up into the final doc. Oh, yeah, so there you go. My dad's worked with Associated Press. And my dad being someone who's been in the IT space since before I was born. So it goes to show you, they've been around for a couple of years, and they're not an unknown. They're not an unknown entity. Like, they've been around for a while. They're pretty forward facing. If you even hear the name Associated Press, you may not know what they are, but you've heard of them, I'm sure. So, not going to go through this whole thing, but effectively, they're talking about the competition between 5G, the different price targets between Verizon and AT&T. So the merger between Discovery and AT&T's Warner Media subsidiary was given the green light by the European Commissions in early January, boosting expectations that the deal will close mid-2022. So this is going to start being built into the price, or it may have already been built into the price if there was rumors that this was going to happen before. Rollins, who there we go, analyst Rollins, believes the deal's close will be an important catalyst to AT&T's network in addition to the company's ability to attract new customers. AT&T said last week that it added 1.3 million postpaid phones in the fourth quarter, above consensus. So now consensus, just projections or agreements. So they said they were going to hit 1.3 million postpaid phones. So what does that mean? It means that it's not prepaid. It means that you're getting paid, you're being billed every month to be on the service continually without getting anything interrupted or cut, unless you say otherwise. So that's what it means by postpaid. I worked for a company that worked for AT&T. It was a retailer for AT&T. They really do push postpaid phones. And they don't care if it's a cheapo, a little, Samsung that isn't going to be keeping up with the times next year. They want that postpaid phone out there. Why? Because that's the numbers they use in these articles to compare between Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T. So I'm curious to see how many of these people hold the 1.3 million postpaid hold, because a lot of these deals that people get when it comes to postpaid, they're really good because it's like free phone, all this other stuff. But if you get a cheap phone, oftentimes, if you're paying for it outright, oftentimes what I see is they're using it to just disconnect and go into another country and all that other stuff. Things have been cheap recently, and the new iPhone has come out in, I think it was October or November. So, Q4 is above consensus. Why? We're just coming out of a pandemic. People are buying more, so all of the numbers are outweighted right now. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm getting frustrated when I see everyone be like, "Oh, we beat our Q4 projections, beat our Q3 projections. We're better than, we're up 50% from a year ago." We were in a pandemic. All of these numbers are inflated, and most of the projections when it comes to Q4 are people just trying to get their last squeeze out. So, could say more about that. Not a fan. Let's just say not a fan of how sales are done in this market. No, that's not slander. I didn't even mention the company I worked for. But anyway, what it's saying is that the price target right now is $29. We're at $26.35 for AT&T. So we're about the same as this other analyst is all they're saying. So that's what I have for this. The reason I brought this up is just because I do want to pick a niche to stick with, and I think cellular is a good one to stick with going forward and staying up with the news on at least these three major companies, and T-Mobile is the other third, because 5G is going to be so huge, and we have these devices in our pocket all the time. I mean, I have an iPad now that I use in my house if I'm not using my laptop or computer, because I shut everything down at a certain time of night. So then I use my laptop. That's still wireless enabled, cellular enabled. So, that's that. All right, taxes on stocks. What will you have to pay? I'm not going to go through this whole article. If you want to read this article, this is what it's called. You can look it up on Yahoo Finance. There are many articles on things like this, but I wanted to brush on it because tax time is coming up in the next few months. Knowing my mom, just preparing, if not probably preparing for it already because it's good to be proactive when it comes to getting those things together. You don't want to be that person on April 15th to be just getting your paperwork in. That's me. Because then, number one, you're waiting longer. Number two, if you have anything that you need to send back in, it's a little harder to get. Things are a little slower. But regardless, that's getting into the nitty-gritty. What I want to talk about here real quick is what are capital gains. Capital gains basically means anything that you are making. UEC 191, 5% on the day. So that went from, 391. So that went from 365 up to 390 today. UEC is a uranium company. We'll check that chart out in a second. Actually we'll check that out now. But capital gains effectively is whatever money you initially put into an investment is your principal. Your principal being, in this case right here, if we're going to use the uranium company, I have 6 shares at $30.51. So if I'm going to round that real quick, we'll say $21 is my principal into UEC. Anything on top of that is capital gains. So I have $23 and change in it, $24.63. Like, this is literally the only thing in this account right now. I'm kind of just having fun with Webull. Found this money in here, so I'm gonna see how I can trade it up. So we're up $1 and change. So that $1 and change is my capital gains. So what does that mean? Principal, the initial chunk that you put in there, anything added on, capital gains. If the principal is lost, then you have your losses, which you can deduct losses. But with your capital gains, you have long-term and you have short-term capital gains. Okay, well, that didn't open yet. Do they talk about long-term up here? No, they don't. A long-term capital gains is profit made when the system is solid after being held for more than 1 year. So they did mention it up here. So here we are. Short-term capital gains is profit made when an asset is sold after being held for less than a year. Long-term is for more than a year. Reason I didn't want to just say that straight out is because they changed this kind of stuff here and there, and I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So capital gains, as far as long-term and short-term, still defined the same way. Shorter than a year, short-term capital gains. Longer than a year, long-term capital gains. Why is this important to know? This is important to know because depending on the state, country, whatever you live in, short-term capital gains can be anywhere from 10% in taxes or 37% in taxes based on the investor's income tax bracket. So being in a lower tax bracket, you get a little bit of a break because you'll be in the 10, 11, 12% range. I think right now there's like 7 tax brackets, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look into that. I'll have to look that back up. But if you're in a higher tax bracket, you're talking 37% is being taxed on your capital gain. So if you put $100 into a stock, let's just say it doubles, it goes up to $200. So you have $100 of capital gains to deal with because it went up, doubled, $100. If you're in the tax bracket that requires you to pay 37% in capital gains, what that means is of that $100 that you have made, only $63 of that is yours. It's the fastest I've done math in a very long time. I don't even care that it's simple. I'm proud of myself. So that's why a lot of people, when you see getting into investments, Warren Buffett, when he buys an investment, if it tanks 50%, he's not selling, at least not immediately. Number one, okay. Let me scratch that, pretend you didn't hear that because he can write it off for a loss. But that's not, anyway, let's put it this way. Day traders know they're going to be hit with 37% of capital gains potentially. When I do my trades, I know that I'm going to be hit with a high tax rate more than if I hold on to these trades. It's why I don't necessarily day trade all the time. That's also why I, in some cases, am okay with holding it for over a year. When he's woken up by someone in the hallway. I also try to pick stocks that I am comfortable holding for over a year, just in case, especially in my bigger accounts. The reason I wanted to bring this up is because as you're getting into the tax year and as you're doing your trades, keep in mind how much money you need to make in order to cover taxes also. Because that's one thing that I wasn't doing when I first started trading back in the day, is I was not paying attention to taxes whatsoever. Next thing you know, when tax year comes, I'm paying everything that I gained that year. just because I was being willy-nilly with it. So, yeah, some investors may owe more because of capital gains. Some could owe less, especially if you're including losses in that. But basically, bottom line, know what you're trading. Know what the tax implications are, and take notes of that. And when you get your paperwork in from your brokerage, make sure they go to your tax professional. If you're capable of doing it yourself, more power to you. At least talk with a tax friend, a certified financial or CPA, certified public accountant. So, yeah, personal. I think that's what it is. Anyway, so this is something I just wanted to skim over real quick. I don't know all of these stocks, so I'm not going to sit on too many of them. But I thought this was pretty interesting. Again, something else you can read as you're going through the different stocks. But this is talking about taking into consideration long-term holds versus short-term, and what you would do if you had a starter profile. First thing I would do is see your risk, or define what your risk tolerance is, which I'm going to be making a video on that. But once you know your risk tolerance, then you'll be able to better see where you'll be putting your money in. It's going to be more in the long-term stuff or more in the short-term stuff, higher cap, lower cap, etc., etc. Excuse me. So I'm going to brush over these real quick. I didn't realize that we're coming up to 2 minutes. I mean, I've been on here for 45 minutes because I was a little bit late, but I'm going to brush over these real quick and then we'll move on. But Apple, keeping it short, they have a whole line of products that aren't going away. They have a giant market cap. I think it's the first kind of tech company to hit $3 trillion market cap, if I'm not mistaken. I just don't think they're going anywhere. If you were to have bought one stock of it, or if you were to have bought the equivalent amount of Apple, of the value of the iPhone when it first came out, let's just say you would have done very well. I actually met someone who bought Apple in 2009, 2010, when I was working at the AT&T store, and this guy was telling me, I'm getting the chills just thinking about it. That's why I loved working at that store, was only because I was working in a rich area and I got to hear a lot of investment stories. So this guy actually did buy Apple back in the day, and when he was in there buying a phone, he was buying it for his, this is what I need to reconnect with this guy. I need to find his number or something, but this guy was buying his granddaughter a phone, and he was telling me that a big reason why he's able to even afford what he can today is because he bought Apple back in 2009. And he's saying, and he made it clear, he's like, no, I'm not saying, he's like, this isn't his words, but he's like, no, I'm not saying that Apple is paying for this right now. But what he's saying is that buying Apple in 2009 gave him the opportunity to grow as much as he has, to be able to afford his granddaughter a new phone. And not saying that her parents don't support her. From the conversation, it sounds like they're doing well themselves. He just likes treating his grandkids because his kids are older. So this is one that I think is going to still be long-term. As an added bonus, Apple is far and away the largest holding. Okay, that's what I thought. And it's one of the largest holdings that Warren Buffett has, Berkshire Hathaway. So there you go. Very good one to be in. I stuck on that a little too long. I said I was going to skim through these. So Verizon, Visa, publicly traded credit company, is worth $470 billion. One of the biggest companies for debt right now, other than MasterCard. I think the reason Visa is one on the top list, in my opinion, is because they are actively looking at crypto right now. If I'm not mistaken, they actually have a CryptoPunk on their treasury. If you don't know what a CryptoPunk is, it's an NFT. It's one of the original ones, and they bought it for a stupid amount of money. Target, again, been around for a long time. The competitors, Amazon and Walmart, are still in the market, but Target has its diehard crew. They're able to do online delivery, curbside delivery. Oh, hey, there's one of my investment groups blowing me up right now. And with the e-commerce, 13% of total U.S. sales, I can still see it going up from there. So even though Amazon and Walmart are in the market right now, Target seems to be that in between for a lot of people because, again, the brick and mortars are still there and their e-commerce is doing well. Alphabet, that's who the parent company to Google is. Don't need to say much about them. They basically own the world. They connect all of the data in the world. They are the oracle for Web 2. If Chainlink is able to do half of what Google is doing right now, or not Chainlink, the Graph is able to do half of what Google is doing right now, they're going to be around the same market cap. Autozone, basically same reasons. The last quarters, the sales have been going up. The earnings per shares have been going up. But again, these numbers aren't completely true because we are coming out of a pandemic. So over the next 5 years or so, if we don't hit another crash, the prices will start to sort themselves out. I'm not saying I disagree with this. I'm just saying when you see percentages and see how well they say they're doing over the last year, last quarter, and all that stuff, just know we are still coming out of a pandemic. And Texas alone has just went back into stage 5, whatever that means, which is like stay in home, but we can't tell you to stay in home because we don't want to cause a civil war type talk. Johnson & Johnson, they're one of the ones that came out with the vaccine, not saying that it did the best when they did come out with it, but they did do it. There's one of the longest companies when it comes to, I don't know what sector they would be in, personal care, I guess, but one of the highest ones whenever it comes to like toiletries, even medicines and things like that. So they're not going anywhere. Their numbers are still showing strong. And if I'm not mistaken, they do put out a dividend too, but I don't want to say that without saying I might be wrong. Fedex, again, this is a bunch on numbers and market cap, but Fedex and something that UPS is doing also, they will actually let you put a package on your front door, they'll pick it up and then send it wherever it needs to go. So that's pretty big. That means you don't have to leave your house anymore to send a package. And FedEx is just doing things right. So their operating income is 9% despite serious labor shortages. And that's another thing is shortages, labor shortages. These companies are going to be hiring big time. Any company that involves using a truck, moving product, is going to be hiring big time. So if they're able to come forward with these shortages, this is just going to make it higher up on the list. I'm just going to skip that one. And that's the end of the list. All right, Bank of America is an important player. They're doing well. I just don't like them. I'm not a fan of banks. I'm not investing in a bank. I'm sorry. It's going to be the last thing I do. I don't care how well they do. It's the last thing that I'll do. So that's the news for today. Let's go check out the charts real quick. And as I do that, I'll say if you want to support this channel, hit the like button, subscribe, get the notification bells. What you're watching right now is the journey to generational wealth. I'll be doing lives talking about all this stuff. And as I'm doing trades and things, I'll keep you updated. And we're going to basically just be taking the temperature on crypto and stocks every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8:15 Central Standard Time. And more lives to come. I'll be doing a crypto focus live Tuesdays and Thursdays in the afternoons, and I'll also be doing one strictly on DeSo, which is a decentralized social media blockchain. Came out in January last year. This is what the UI looks like. So it's like a Facebook, but everything is tracked on the blockchain. Just know that everything is tracked on the blockchain. You can find links in the description for this if you want to sign up. If you sign up and verify your account, I think it's like $5 in DeSo that you get, and I'll get $1. But it's pretty cool. It's got notifications like Facebook. You can see all the people who, comment to you and stuff. You got your profile. You got your wallet, which is what is all the creator coins that you're being held. I won't dig into it too much, but that's another way you can support me. You can even buy the coin. If you buy my coin, that's the best way to support me right now because I do get literal rewards that I can actually spend, which all that just goes into investing and being able to do more of these videos. Other ways to support me, if you are just getting into crypto, the biggest thing, let me just say, do not go into Webull if you're just getting into crypto. You don't own the crypto, you're only tracking the asset. Unless you're aware of that and you just want to track the asset, you do you. But the one that I would suggest is BlockFi. There is a couple of others that I'm looking into now that seem to be doing about the same that BlockFi is, but could be a little bit different. But BlockFi, if you put your crypto on there, you're actually gaining interest on your crypto. So let's just say you put $1,000 of Bitcoin in here. I think the APY on Bitcoin right now is like 6%. So you put $1,000 in Bitcoin in here, let it sit there for a year. By the end of that year, you have $60 in Bitcoin. It's pretty substantial if you ask me, when banks are getting out like 0.005% or something like that. So for anyone just getting into crypto, if you want to feel what it's like to be in the market, but you don't necessarily want to move things around, and this is just to start getting skin in the game, this is the way I would go. And this is the way I would go, because it's the lower end of risk. They haven't had any defaults on the loans, because what's happening is the same thing as a bank. When you buy your Bitcoin on here, they're lending it on the back end, but it's not like a 1 to 10 scale like banks are. But you're getting the 6% or whatever it is on your end. If you're doing it in stable coins, I think the interest rates are as high as like 8.9 or 9.6% on here right now. Yeah, you can earn up to 9.5 APY on your crypto right now. You're getting it in that crypto. The links for all these are in the description down below. So make sure you're using the referral codes that it shows at the end of those links for these, if they don't pop up when you're going through the flow. Crypto.com is another one. It's a good onboarding app. This is the one that I use as my Visa card. They can link to your bank, and you can hold fiat on here and actually load up the card. So every time I use my card, I get 1% back in CRO, which I mentioned before when we were going through the chart. It is an exchange token. So the more you hold of it, the more rewards you get when you're working in Crypto.com. It did just go just a few months ago. Or last month, it did just go from like 13 cents up to 97 cents. So lots of potential still in there. It's at 42 cents right now, ish, 49 cents. It did just move a little bit. Coinbase, another good on-ramp, one of the most popular ones out there. I honestly don't use it too much, but it's a good on-ramp, so I like to leave it in the description so that people see it. It's one of the better known ones out there. This one, I believe you get $25 in CRO when you stake one of their cards. This one, I think we both get $5 or $10 if you sign up using the link. And this one right here, I believe you get 3 free stocks if you sign up using my link down in the description. This one is the exchange that we use for trading stocks. I use Thinkorswim of my own, but they don't use it. They don't have referral codes, so Webull is where we're going with the referral code. But this is what you see whenever I'm doing any trades on screen or just looking at the charts and stuff on screen. It's more than likely going to be Webull. This is a desktop platform. It's pretty intuitive. It's much better than trying to use it on a website. So this isn't a website. This is actually a downloaded app. So that's basically all I got today. I don't think I have anything else to say. So if you want to support this channel, use those links in the description down below. Leave a comment. Just leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what L1s and L2s you're looking at. That's all I got for you. Peace.